Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, hi everyone. A very good afternoon to you all. So, as you know that today we are having our Solve with Instructor session as usual, but today we'll be having basically I think your session on that SQL alchemy part will have to be extended today. So, before going into that part, I just wanted to ask you that how many of you had uh, attempted the questions regarding week 7? If anyone had to ask something, you can ask it also. And we can also continue with that SQL alchemy part. So, yeah, you can share your queries on chat as well. And we can take that queries as well from chat as well, or you can unmute as well. And second thing is quiz one results are out, right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, what's your feedback on that? And if there are any suggestions or any feedback, you can also adjust those. You can also share those if there is some concern or there is something to share. Yeah. So it will be good that if you give any kind of feedback as the results are out, and uh, it it will be good to hear from you.
And two questions were removed, right?
Yeah. Two questions are removed that you can see it on Discourse as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what I faced was that when the questions were removed, so I got the answers correct, but because the questions were removed, so the total marks, which was previously 50, got reduced to, I guess, 44 or something like that. So because of that, my percentage dropped. So that was kind of sad for me.
Okay.
I
So
mean, if there would have been something like if students who got the correct answers, they get evaluated out of 50, and who got the answers wrong, they get evaluated from a total of 44. I guess that would have been reasonable.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, we have Abhishek with us. So Abhishek, can you give your some hello? Abhishek, are you there? Okay, so I think Abhishek has some problems with the internet connectivity.
Mhm.
Yeah, So, see, I just want to say that it's just a decision made by the faculty and us. In order to some of the feedback we had seen on the discourse, right? Many of the students have complained that this questions had to be removed and this kind of thing. So, I think on that basis we had made those decisions. But yeah, your concern is also somewhere true. But I think on this, what can we do as of now? We can share this concern to our faculty and can get back to you that what can be done in this case.
Okay, ma'am. I mean, the difference was not by a lot, but then again, I mean, my grade won't be affected because I get the same grade. But then again, that's one thing that was concerning for me.
Yeah. This thing, I'm getting your point. Yeah, one more person has raised her hand. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I actually wanted to say that can you please make sure from for the next quiz that the mocks which were given were very misleading. So the kind of questions that were in the mock were very easy to solve. Like the difficulty level was very different according to this is my opinion. So if there is any way to at least give the same level of difficulty for the mocks so that we can understand what kind of questions we can expect. Also, also because the mocks were in accordance with the previous term question papers, so I got some with my friends.
Yeah.
So so that is how I had prepared for the exam. But
Mhm.
since the questions were not like, it was very screencast, I mean, people who have like, it was very coding related,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was not the case with previous terms, and also with not the mocks was be at least that coding related. So just my opinion, if you can make sure, or you can somehow give us mocks according to that, that will be very, so that we can understand like what all need to be studied, and
Mm-hmm.
at
So,
least we can uh
yeah.
yeah, so
Yes.
sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So basically the mocks are just in accordance with, just to have a glimpse of what kind of question you can address. Yeah, I can understand that that quiz is somewhere different, but yeah, of course this is a obvious thing, right? To quiz is a quiz. It had to be some different questions and difficult questions as well. If you see the mock questions, they are just to get you familiar with that pattern, right?
Yes, ma'am,
So
I can understand that, but just my opinion that at least somewhat related to the difficulty level, so that we know like
okay, okay, okay,
here.
I got your point. So you are
Yeah,
asking for the same level of difficulty in the mock paper as well, so that
exactly.
you can practice in more.
Yeah, because we don't have any other papers, like I practice previous term papers and also the mocks. Now we can't do anything else, and the GAs and the all the assignments, graded assignments. So that is all we've like solved. So according to that, I thought the paper was very slightly like very different, like very coding related. So if in future you can do something of that sort, it
Yeah,
will
yeah.
be
I'll
very
I'll
helpful.
I'll give some of these concerns to the faculty. I'll post that on that discourse as well. So yeah, I
Okay,
can do
ma'am. Thank
some.
you.
Yeah. There is one thing on the chat also. I found I found that most of the questions were syntax based. So one would know them. Okay, if they have practiced it. Okay, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think the questions that were in the majorly on the syntax based, that are removed, right? That Jinja, that the guys are complaining in the discourse, that has been removed. That filter one, right?
Only two questions were removed. No? There were many such questions, but some were of a lesser difficulty. This was, I think, very, very difficult. That is why they were removed.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So, uh, yeah. So, see, if you have any kind of concept that had been covered in the lecture, see, as sir is using that filters, right? Some of the filters sir has been using in the screencast as well. So they had to teach you what is Jinja and how it is being used. So some of the basic filters of Jinja is a must to know, right? If you go to the documentation, you can see various numbers of Jinja filters, but you should not need to know all of them. But there are some of the filters that is very common to use, and that the questions, I think the questions that is in concern, so that are some of them only that are using some of them only, but uh, yeah, we can say that they are syntax based, but not at a very vast level. You can go to the documentation and read some of the common filters or common things that people use. So for example, if we take an example of CSS, so see, there are many things in CSS, right? The CSS is very vast, but if you know some of the basic concepts, like see, how to change font, how to change background, see, box model, combinators, selectors, this kind of things, these are very common in use, right? So we are not going into very much deep details, like there are many concepts in syntax, sorry, CSS. So you should have to know, you should have must to know that some of the things that is very common and it is in regular use, So yeah, we are just assuming that okay, we have given you the pointers that we are teaching you css in some extent, that you should know some of the basic concepts, that because in this 12-week course it is not possible to cover each and every concept, right? There is many things in if we say see the syllabus, right? This syllabus is just very vast. If you go into if you start going into the details, it is very impossible to cover it in this duration of time, right? 3 months or 12 weeks of time. So yeah, you should have to go into some in details. And this, please don't just dependent on the mock papers and previous mock papers, this kind of things. Just go into the lectures, find some points that is new to you, that you don't know, and just go into details somewhere at some details that is very commonly used, and which is yeah, we can say it, okay, this is the thing I must know in this topic. You can go to the screencast, you can highlight some of the points that you don't know, and you can go to the web and search through them, right? On your own. And you should not have to go into much details, because we never ask you the things that is in very much details. So yeah, some of the concept that you should know is important. You should know it, right? And it is very we are assuming that you guys are you guys will know that kind of things by your own. Yeah, from next quiz, I'll assure you. Okay, I'm not assuring you, but I'll take this concern to the faculty as well, or we'll discuss in the team also. So that mock thing that you had said. So yeah, we can talk on that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So
Madam, for regarding the quiz, like, should we learn know everything from the documentation of Jinja 2 and the Flask and all those things? Should we go through that thoroughly or something
okay,
like that?
so sorry, Joyce. So can you please repeat your what you're saying?
Yeah, for the quiz preparation, like, should we go through the entire documentation of Jinja and the Flask and all those things? Should we?
See, as far as I can tell you, that you should not have to go into the entire documentation. Documentation is very large, right?
Yeah.
Only the thing that is covered in the lectures, that are pointers that you have covered in the screencast. Just you have to go into that much details, because see, if I give you an example of filters, so in the screencast also you can notice that sir had used filters, right? So okay, so go to that documentation, open that filter section, and you can read about that filter. And if I tell you that there are many filters, right, in the documentation also, but you should have to know only those filters that are commonly used, and that is important, right? That is okay, what I say, that is important from the point of view of lab assignments, that is important from the point of your web application that you are developing, this kind of things, right? We are never going to ask you that thing that is far from context of the course. So yeah, you're not have to read
So there
all
was
the
one question, like in the CSS styling, there was something called important.
important what
Yeah, it's like a CSS base where there was an internal styling element that was given, and the in style element was also given for the same thing. Based on the priority, something like, then we used to take the in style, like inline styling thing, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like, but there was one term like exclamatory mark with an important that was given. That's the first time I'm seeing that, only in the question paper.
Okay.
Something like that, which was, I never saw that before, though I was reading a lot on the CSS from external.
So you are talking about the quiz papers, right?
Yeah, quiz paper. I think question number some
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the
okay, I got that.
weightage was also more for these types of questions. Like, I know it's difficult, so the weightage is more.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I I got that wrong, like which I didn't expect, like because since I was going through the CSS document
Okay,
in detail.
see, one thing just I have to tell you that, see, if any such kind of question will come to your quiz, it's very much possible that in the options itself we are giving you some of the pointers that you should have to be you should see the code and just predict the answer, right? uh, from the, if you go to the solution or if you go to the options, right, you can see and you can observe the pattern, what is asking in the question, and what are the options, and you can just predict those. If you are not aware of that concepts or particular concept, that kind of thing, you just go to the question and just observe the option and observe the pattern, right? uh, See, from the this is the thing. Yeah, okay, I'm audible, right?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So yeah, from this question I can see that, okay, if that such kind of concept is coming, if nothing is sorry, syntactical base or some concept that are not much familiar, so you can go to the options and you can just see and observe the options pattern. Okay, you can just use that, what, elimination method, and many of the things you can try, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, this is the concern, and yeah, I can able to understand that. Yeah, from the next quiz we can try that thing in the mock also, so to maintain
Something
the
like this,
difficulties.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, something like where the it has been, where you think, like, you people think it's very important for us to know. You can give those questions in mock, like
Yeah, yeah,
at
okay,
least to
okay,
the
I'm
difficulty level
getting.
of the quiz. So we could, that would give us an opportunity to go search and learn more.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand your concern. So yeah, from the next quiz we can try to maintain the mock paper difficulty as from the context of that quiz papers. So yeah, but
Yeah,
one thing I
thank you.
just wanted to tell you, in that type of questions which you are not very much confidence about, in which are coming in your quiz exams, you just you just mm, uh, you just see those options. I can tell you that if you observe very carefully the options as well as the questions, you just definitely got that answer, right?
Yeah, I
So
get it. My confusion was like, whether this important applies to the entire block or only to that particular styling element.
yeah, 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 I'm getting,
I was
okay.
confused on that, and yeah, then I obviously I put a wrong answer. But I'm just telling you, this is what,
Mhm.
because it's totally new to me. That's what I'm telling you. I'm first time I'm seeing it in the question paper, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the only thing. Otherwise, it was okay, and maybe the weightage for the marks could be like, maybe I that's it's my personal thing, but yeah, it could be made equal or something, so that you know it would
Yeah, yeah.
be, or given a less, yeah, this is, it is meant to be little harder, so it's been given a higher weightage. If the everything has been given 3 marks or 2 marks, something like that, then at least we won't lose mark on that front.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
The mark distribution, something like that, equal mark distribution or something like that. That
Oh,
again means that the number of questions will increase. Last time in BDM they did it. The mark was very less and the number of questions were more. And again, we felt it hard because we were not having time to complete all the questions.
mm-hmm. Okay.
That was there. Yeah, something like that. This is just my suggestion. You can, you know, since you asked for the feedback, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else?
Hello, I'm just one question. I joined in a little late. Uh, we got a mail yesterday saying that two questions were not considered. So the percentage that is displayed on the portal is considering those. Is it the final one? Just that question.
Okay, so yeah, Abhishek, are you there?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, hope I'm audible to all.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, so whatever marks that are being shown on the dashboards, they are the updated scores. It's after the removal of those two questions.
Okay.
Okay, is there any other question, Sonal, related to that, or shall we start with what we have planned for today?
Yeah, okay, one more guy. I think Pushpak was asking the same question regarding that excluded questions from the quiz. Hello, Pushpak, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So, is there anything to ask from Abhishek, or are you fine from that?
I mean, that was the feedback. I guess I am fine with it.
Okay. So, yeah, Abhishek, we can start.
Okay, all right. So yeah, the deadline for week 5 and week 6 lab assignments have already been over. I am seeing one question in the chat. When will the problem statement for the project be available? I am hoping that we'll be able to publish it by Monday. We'll definitely try to do that. Otherwise, it might take 1 or 2 more days after Monday. Try to do it in the next week for sure. Okay, yeah, the idea is to give you guys more time in order to work on the project. Of course, keeping in mind that you have been doing some other courses too in parallel. Okay, so let's come back to the agenda for the today's session. So yeah, the deadlines for week 5 and week 6 lab assignments have already been over. I hope you all would have gotten your scores. I just want to know if any one of you faced any difficulty while implementing something, not with respect to that why this thing went wrong, I did it correctly. Those may be kept apart as of now. I just want to know if someone had a difficulty in order to implement a certain or a particular feature that was mentioned as a requirement in the problem statement. Anyone who faced difficulty in implementing any functionality given as part of problem statement?
Sir, for me, the HTTP exceptions were, I don't know those concepts, so I found it really very difficult to get those error messages with those. I think error code 400, those messages that were displayed, that was given in the question statement, and I was not able to get that. I really found it took me nearly 2 days to figure out that there is something called HTTP exceptions, and I have to use that and call another import another file for that.
You don't necessarily need that. What you can do is you can even return a standard response. Whatever type of dictionary or a JSON string that you want to return, you can simply write it in the endpoint. Right, return or whatever attributes you want to have in your dictionary. I guess there were 2, error code and one is error message. Just return that as part of your response along with the status code 400. You don't even
when
need
I tried doing that, I was getting those errors were not displayed in the right format that was given in the question statement. So I was checking through browsing and I somehow found, I thought this would be the right way to do, like something like that.
This could be done in either ways.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Integers. Yeah.
Sir, can I talk?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, for me, the most difficult part was figuring out the correct software to test, because in the screencast they were showing insomnia, and in the live session they showed Postman, but in the actual program statement there was Swagger UI. I didn't know how
you
to.
could use any. All of
Okay.
them are gonna work perfectly fine for you. No issues with that.
Okay, but Swagger UI, I didn't know because I was running something and it was throwing some error, whereas my Insomnia was working fine.
Were you trying it online?
Yes, yeah, I did it online, yes.
You better install the Swagger editor in your system and try to make it off.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Because if you're trying it online, that is basically hosted on a different origin. It is hosted on GitLab on a project named Online Degree. So you would definitely get a CORS error because the server is there on your system. However, the the IP address of the server is same, but still they both are located on different origins. And browser by default doesn't allow cross-origin exchange of resources.
Oh, okay, sir. Wait, I was just confused because it was specifically mentioned Swagger UI in the problem document, so that's why I
That's a
thought
way
of
of documenting your API.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks, sir.
Okay. Passing integers in the API call for week 6. Sorry, can you please elaborate this? Snehil Nair, where there was supposed to be string. Sorry, I'm not able to recollect, but you actually want to bring out.
So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that we had I wanted to check the condition what happens when I pass an integer instead of a string, where it was a string required, for example, in a roll number, but I was not able to do it in the API call.
See, I guess these were the questions that were popping up in the discourse as well, and we have tried to respond to those queries as well. Because fundamentally, if you say that if you're passing one, or if you're even passing a long number, let's say of 2 digits or 3 digits or 4 digits or even like you cannot say that that thing is not a string, right? Because how do you basically define a string? A string is just a collection of some characters, right? And a number, you can just break down that number into certain digits, and each digit can act as a character. So fundamentally, there's nothing preventing you to accept those numbers as a string value.
So there is no way to typecast in the JSON request body if it's an integer or a
It
string.
definitely means you can do that, because if you're sure that converting a string value into a number is basically throwing you an error, or it's basically giving an exception, then you can be sure that this is not a correct number, and you can generate whatever exceptions you want.
Okay, so thank you.
Okay. All right. So I guess these were the doubts or the difficulties that you faced in week 5 and week 6 lab assignment statements. Week 7 problem statement, I guess that would be live in a day or two as well. Just gonna be a different, a similar kind of project that you have to build on top of what you did in week 5. You'll get to know more about it when the problem statement is live. Okay, so I think we had the last session for that full-fledged web application on Friday, if I am not wrong. So what we did last time was let me just recollect. I think we try to do some create operations. The example that we have been using since last 2 sessions that were taken especially for completing this app. We are taking basically 2 tables. One is company, the other one is employee, and we are trying to set up relationships between these two. In the last session, what we were able to complete was, I guess we created 2 or 3 links which were able to add an employee or add a company. I'll quickly start sharing my screen. I'll maybe walk through what we have done so far. And to be very honest, I am thinking loud here, so I have not really planned what else can be added there. So hopefully we can get some ideas in the session itself and get them implemented. I hope my screen is now visible.
Yes, Abhishek.
Okay, so how many endpoints do we have right now? We have one add movie, we have one delete, and then we have one second. Seems to be something else. Okay. Yeah, so we have one this company create, we have this employee create. The other one we have is companies that would directly dump out all of the companies that are available in the database. Let us quickly see what is there in the create company. So if you want to create a company, what all details you need in order to create an object for it. The first thing you need is the company name. The second thing is company website URL, and then the company CEO name. This is what you require for creating an object of a class company. Similarly, we have something for employee. What do we have in employee is that you need the employee name, the employee email, employee experience. That also is type of text. That means not necessarily be in years. After that, we have something here. Okay, I guess we are passing some COMS here. Let me see, what is this? Okay, we are passing all of the companies. All right, all right. Okay, so while creating an employee, we actually decided to, that we'll keep a company component that which company that particular employee is associated to. Right, so we'll basically show a drop-down menu where the user can pick from that which company he is associated to, he or she is associated to, and yeah, that would be saved in the database accordingly. Okay, so this is what we had done in the last session. Now, okay, so any suggestions now? Means what else can we do in this app? We just have an endpoint for creating an employee or a company, and we have an endpoint that basically shows us all of the employees or companies available. Sorry, the companies available, not the employees. Anything you want to experiment with the relationship? Because I guess we would be using some kind of relationships if we are using drop-down menu. And what we are using is CID. Okay, all right, yeah, we have been making the use of this relationship called company here that is available in the employee object or the employee class. So employee class is a relationship name. In the backref, it is company. Yeah. Okay. I think what we can have is that when we are showing these, these companies, so we can probably make one of these things clickable, right? Means what we can do is we can either make the company ID clickable, the company name, or anything, or maybe we can have create one more column here that basically shows us more like an anchor tag, that says details. And once you click on the details, what it will show is it will basically give you a type of interface like you were supposed to create in your week 5 lab assignment when you click a student. That means it will first give you all of the company details. We'll give tell what the company name is, who is the CEO. Apart from that, he'll also give you a list of what all employees are associated with this company so far. I think we can build on to create this kind of endpoint. Can we make a relation between relations, sir? Sorry, I'm not able to get it. Okay, I guess yeah, what we can do is we can take this thing. Whenever we are showing the companies, we can have one more column here that basically says details. And once you click on that details, now each row will have their own details column. That means the first row will have its own details, the second row will have its own detail. And once you click on any of those details, the informations related to that company will basically appear on the user screen and user can see. right? So now, if we basically want to add one more column here, can someone tell me what can we do? How I can basically add one more column with the details anchor type of link? I hope most of you are done with your week 5 lab assignment, so you would be able to, give us some idea what can be done. Like you created, I guess, update or delete links in the week 5 assignment. Okay, shall I keep that means the anchor tag as part of this for loop, or shall I keep it outside here?
It should be inside the for loop so that it would appear in every company.
Correct. It should be inside the for loop. And even we want to associate each details link with a kind of reference ID, so that each detail links will have some information about what it is referring to. So I'll just create a TD here, a table tag, and I can create an anchor tag, right? And here I can say details, something like that. Details and href. So we need to give a link here, like where should it be redirected to? So of course we need to create a different endpoint in our Python program as well. Let's do one thing. Let's create an endpoint. Company, and I want to pass a variable here. What I want to pass here is I want to pass this company ID as part of this URL. So how can I make it work? Because if I'll directly write one dot company ID, this won't be treated as a variable, right? This is simply a string that this URL is getting.
Double curly braces.
Yeah, all right. So we need to tell them that this is a variable and this needs to be rendered or replaced with some other value. So do you think this thing will work?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it would definitely work. Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me see what is the type.
Sir, one more question. While in the the previous form, you were showing the HTML, right? Can you go to that file, sir?
Which one?
Now
Company
you're
or
showing it.
Okay. The current one. Sorry,
Yeah,
I was
just
on
now
view
you're showing
company.
that. Yeah. Here, while the other TDs have a dictionary call format, right? One, we put the variable inside the dictionary. How do you call a variable from a dictionary? That value from a dictionary, you use that, right? One, the square brackets company ID, something like that, right? One square brackets company name, and all those things. Can those also can be done as one dot company ID, something like that?
Yeah, I have done it here.
Yeah, the above statements can also be done like that, right?
Yeah, they can be done, but only in Jinja 2 templating, because if you will try to do so in Python, I guess that won't be a correct.
Okay. Okay. So these are like string templates, like the above statements are like templates for a string, something like that, right?
Yeah, you can say these are specific to templating. Yeah, you may not be able to do it directly in the programming language.
Okay. The last one is for the Jinja 2 thing. Okay, because this question only was coming the quiz one, right? Something like this, the Amit address and all those things. For Jinja 2, you can use a dot and refer it, while in normal string templating, you cannot use a dot. You have to put it, call it in the, how do you call a variable from a dictionary? Like you put the key inside the name, square brackets, and the key value, right? Am I right, sir?
Sorry, I think you are trying to refer to a quiz question, so I may not be able to answer you which question you are basically referring to unless I know it completely.
No, sir. Something similar to that. the lines, like 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 lines are string template format. Am I right?
They are what?
The line number 22 to 25, they are from the other string template. Like,
sorry, I'm not able to understand that what that you are saying before templates. Which template?
how do you like template strings? You template strings, right?
Okay, strings template.
Yeah.
Means what do you mean by strings template?
No, like you were telling, like, this one will not work. Yeah. When you put one dot company ID, it won't work when it comes to a string templating using strings. Like, am I right?
No, no. What I'm saying is that if you are basically, having a class object, and if you try to access a property of that class object in your Python program, this way, the way you access it in case of dictionaries, that may not work in Python, but it can work in this templating engines.
Okay, sir. Okay, I get it. Okay, it's a class object. Okay, yeah. Now I get it. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So what we did here is we just created a a new column that basically just says details, and we are saying that whenever you click on this anchor link, you will be redirected to this URL or this URI, and we are yet to create this URI. So let us quickly create that. We are here. I'll just copy this, and it's gonna be okay, company. Now, can someone tell me how shall I declare a variable here? This again needs to be a variable.
No, it will be int company ID.
Okay, so int company ID, something like this.
Yeah, we will angular brackets before int and colon after int.
Okay.
Yeah, and angular brackets after ID.
I like this way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. So what we are expecting here is we are expecting a variable that is company ID, and that is to be of type int. So do we need to make any change in the function definition? Here at line number 86.
We'll need to pass in like the company ID to.
Correct. So this URL is carrying a variable that we want to use inside this function, and we'll be using this variable. Okay. Company ID, and I don't think. Okay, so all of you know what we want to do here, that the control will be redirected to this endpoint when you are clicking on the details page. Now, if you're clicking on details, as I said, means we want to show or display all of the information or all of the details that is relevant to that company. That means all of the company's details and all of the employees that are associated with that company. Can someone tell me, firstly, how shall I fetch the company object if I just have the company ID? I am having my company ID here. I just want to know how can I fetch the company object so that I can extract some other details like company CEO name or company name. Or...
Company dot query dot get, and the company ID will pass.
Okay, all right. So we can do that. Company dot query dot get, and we can directly pass here company ID. We know that we are getting this value from the function parameter, so we can directly pass it here. Now, you would have done this even without using this get method. You could have used filter by, you could have used filter, whatever you are comfortable, you can do that. Okay. So now this com is basically the object, right? What you want to do with this object is you want to pass this object as it is to the template, right? Which you are gonna define, so that the template itself can pick out the values, whatever it wants and wherever it wants to display. The other things that we want is that which all employees are associated with this company. So in that case, we need the help of the association table that we have created. That is this association. That means we need to make a query in this association table. Am I correct? I want to get a list of all of the employees that are working in a particular company. I have that object of company class. Sorry, not the company class. What I have is, for company class. I want to get a list of all of the employees who are working in that company. How can I do that?
There can be two ways for that. One would be the association table way. The other would be like we can access members directly from the company object, basically.
So what members will return?
Members will return a list of basically all the employee class objects.
Okay, employee class
belong to
all right.
That will be.
Great. So we'll be doing the same way, the easiest way that is possible right now for us. Com dot members. So this is gonna give us a list, right? But what do we do with this list? Can someone tell me? What do we do with this employee list? I will simply create a template for that, and we'll pass these two objects, or even one object, and the other one is a list of objects to this template. We have not created the template so far, so I'll just create one more template here. We'll have to code for this. So what can be the name? The name can be company details or something like that. Okay, company details.html. I'll just create it here, and so firstly we can create a heading that basically says that you are currently on a company details page or something like that. So company details page. After that, you want to show some information. Let's say what all properties are associated with the company object. One is company name, the other one is company URL, and the other one is company CEO. I'll just quickly create H3 objects. I guess they should be fine. H3 tags, sorry. But what I say here is, I would say that company name. Okay, do we need to display the company ID here? Do you feel that company ID is required on the company page? That company ID is just required to for a database purpose. We basically don't need to show it to the user of the end user of the application. That may not be of any use for them. So company name, and I have to basically look what the object names are. So company name, company website, and company CEO. All right. I'll say company name. So is this correct? I'll just write company name, which I want to show.
No, sir. We'll have to write the object name as well, from which we are deriving company name.
Correct. We need that object as well. So let me just correct it. Company website and company URL. So yeah, as someone of you said that we basically need to, take these values out of our object. So firstly, we need to give the reference to the object, and let's say the object is gonna be com that I guess I have just created on the Python file. The same way I'll say com.company website and the company URL. If you want, you can make this company URL clickable too. Well, of course, not gonna matter much. It's okay. Now, after that, what we want to show is we want to show the details of the employees that are working in this company currently. I'll create one more heading here that basically says the list of employees. Right. Okay. So now list of employees, definitely there could be multiple employees. If there are multiple employees, how am I supposed to basically know how many employees are there? Because if I want to show them on the HTML, I of course need to code because HTML will basically render whatever we type here. So what shall I write here? Or how will I get to know how many employees are there?
We'll have to iterate through them using for loop.
Correct. We have to basically iterate. Let us quickly do one thing in the endpoint here. I'll just name the template that we have just created. This is company details. Well, these names can be anything, need not be the same that I am using here. You can select any name of your own choice. The company object, we'll be referring it in the template with the same name, COM, and the same thing with the employee list. Again, you could have different names for each of those. All right. So what we'll do is we will basically use a Jinja 2 conditional block here in order to use a for loop. And how do we do that? We basically use this block if we want to use a conditional for basically employee in EMP list. This is what we are getting from our server. So employee list will basically be a list, but it is also possible that there are no employees at all. Right? In that case, we need to handle that case. Means we need to basically probably show a simple error or maybe leave the table empty. That is that depends on the implementation what you want to do, how attractive you want to make your website. So what can we do right now is let's just check. Means if we have the length of this employee list as 0, we'll simply show a simple message that no employees are working in this company or no employees are associated, something like that. Again, this requires some conditional work, so I'll create one more Jinja block. And here, can someone tell me if I want to check that what's the means if this employee list contain any object or not? What can I write at line number 70? Any ideas?
So if employee list pipe symbol, then length equals 0.
Okay, so if empty list pipe symbol length equals to 0, will that work?
Then it will execute the statements, and in the else part we will write that no employee is present in the list.
Are you sure there should be a single equals to?
I think double equals to it.
Okay. So if this condition is true, that means we are sure that no employee is associated with this company, because what this imp list is, this is basically a list of employees. Like, and if the length of this list is 0, we can say that yeah, no employees are there in this company, and we can create a p element, let's say, or any element you can take. I am using this p that no no employees, something like that. That's fine. Okay. Now, but if this condition is not true, that means if there is even a single object of type employee in that employee list, so what we'll do is we'll try to extract each of those objects that is that are there in that list, and we'll try to show the information corresponding to each object. So in order to make it here, I'll just try to complete the template first so that at last we don't have any confusions. And for and what shall I write here? What else is remaining to close?
And
closed.
And if
right. I think we have closed all of the templating things here, right? We started if, else, ended if here, started for here. All right. I think, yeah, that's kind of done. So, well, now this is a choice for you that once you write, list of employees, you could create a table straight away there. You could create the headers of the table, and it depends. Means if you don't want to create the rows for the table, then you can show no employees message. That means when you are showing this no employees message, the headers of the table still exist. But right now, what I'm doing is that if the list is empty, I'm not gonna show the headers of the page. What will I do is I'll only show headers if there is something to show. Now, in the else part, I am at least certain that there would be something. So I think I can create a table here. Inside table, I will be having multiple TR tags for representing table rows, and in this TR, I will be having each. So what we want to show is, yeah. So what we want to show, let's say the first one is gonna be serial number as always. The second thing can be employee name. Right. The other thing can be TH. It can be, let's say, what else do we have in the employee table? So we have employee name, email, and experience. Yeah, let's put it out as it is. Like, let's not worry too much about it. So this is employee email, and sorry. Yeah, someone wants to say something. So employee experience. Okay, so we have created the table headers. We are still, let me put this somewhat away, and I'll cut this table tag. Okay, can someone tell me where should I close this table tag? After this end for or after this end with? Of course, we don't need to. Correct, we need to close it here. Right, let's follow the same indentation that we have. This one also, this one also. Right, yeah. Okay. So now we will start creating the TRs here. The TRs will only be created. TR means table rows. So of course, we will be creating dynamically populated table rows depending on the number of objects that we are getting in that list. So TD, again, we will be creating a number of them. What is the very first thing that we need to show? This is the serial number. Okay, I guess I missed discussing this thing in one of the last sessions. I think we should be having one template. Okay, view companies. So here what we are showing as part of the serial number is we are showing this company ID. Now let me put a scenario here. Suppose I am having a list of 10 companies, right, which are being shown on the screen, serial number wise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What I did is I deleted the company having ID 7 and I deleted the company having ID 4. So with this implementation, what do you expect the serial number of each entry to? I deleted an entry with company ID 4 and 7. What sequence do you expect on the front end?
Yeah, the sequence will be like altered. The sequence would not be correct in that case.
Correct. So means the sequence number 4 and 7 would be missing, right? You will directly get 1, 2, 3, and then 4 would be missing, directly 5. In the same way, after 6, 7 would be missing, you would get 8. So in order to, basically just show the sequence number, actually don't disclose what the company ID is. Or even here, I think the serial number is very much close to what the company ID is. But still, so that the sequence don't get disturbed, we use a special property here. Let me put that property here. So we say loop.index. So this is a special property, that basically keeps the track of the indexes that are being iterated over that list and will automatically assign the sequence number here, right? That will start with one. So in that case, even if you delete any object, from the mid, you are not trying to show its primary key or maybe some other value. You are trying to show the sequence number that is present in this list, right? So it will remain same each time. Doesn't matter what, right? Even let's say you have a page like you have in your week 5 assignment. You basically provide 2 buttons corresponding to each row. One is update, one is delete. If you click on the delete button, the page gets refreshed, and of course you end up being on the same page. In that case, that view seems quite disturbing when the sequence got disturbed. So with the help of this, whenever you click on the delete button, the sequence number will automatically be refreshed, right? Because the page would be re-rendered, right? Because after of course, when you will click on the delete button, some computations will happen. You will write some code, you will try to delete those entries from the database, and it will basically redirect you to the same endpoint, or will try to render the same template again, right? So in that case, a whole re-rendering will happen. That's why the sequence will get refreshed. We also want to show some other details. The first thing is the sequence number. The other one is the employee name. So again, I need to refer how we are. Okay, so employee name, employee email, and employee experience. Right. What shall I write here? I shall write here emp dot, or of course I can use the listing as well. Employee name. I guess that's okay. Please notify me if I'm making any typos. Employee name, and the other one is employee email. The last one is gonna be what? Employee experience. I think no, this should be working the way we are expecting it to. All right, okay. Yeah, do you feel that this should work or not? Before going here, let's try to see what is there in the database. Like, I'm not even sure, but we put in the database last time. So we have something in association table. Let's see, we have 5 companies, okay, and we have just 2 employees. Okay, that's strange. And what is there in the association table? That the first employee is associated with this company. What will I do is I'll quickly try to create, multiple employees, and we'll try to select the same company, so that once we click on that company details page, we should be getting a list of all of those employees, right, that we just created. So I'll just, take a look at the names. Okay, we have quite. Sorry, I need to take a look at employees. The Abhishek and. Okay. Well, what kind of record is this? Let me delete this. Okay, I need to delete from the association table first. So 2 is associated here. And I'll just write the changes. Okay, great. I need to close this database so that my application can access it. Now I'll just start the virtual environment, and we'll get this application running. I started the virtual environment, and I hope the name is class. Okay, app.py. Okay, so we have a assertion error, which is saying that view function mapping is overwriting an existing endpoint function. So that's basically because we copied one endpoint and we didn't even change the function name. So yeah, view companies remains the same here. What we'll say is we'll say view company, or do we have this one already? Create employee, create company. Yeah, I guess this should work. Okay, so the server is restarted on this. I'll just open this, right? And we are getting it here. What we decided was that we'll add a set of employees with the same company. Right. Let's create, Akshay 749@gmail.com. Let's say the employee experience is something around 7 months. Of course, it's a string, so I can enter whatever I want to. Some meaningful information as well, if I want. Let's try to associate with the company sample, and yeah, add employees. So that employee is added. I'll again add a one more employee, and after that we'll see the details for that particular company. Let's add one employee email as gmail.com. And employee experience, well, let's say 2 months. Right, and what was the last company? I guess Sample, if I'm not wrong. And I'll add the employees. So if I'll see view companies, I am getting a details link here. Okay, we forgot to basically add the header. Yeah, so we added those employees in this company called Sample company. And if I click on the details, either we'll be getting the thing that we want or we'll be getting an error. Let's see. Okay, so this is working perfectly fine. I guess the company name, 1 second, there's some problem here. Company details, com.company URL. Okay. So company, okay, firstly, we need to change this thing to company website name, or let's just leave it company website. And hey, wait, website and URL both are same. I think this will be CEO, if I'm not wrong. CEO name. Yeah, let's just refresh this. Yeah, so we are getting this. Mr. Akshay is the employee, CEO. The company website URL is this, the company name is this, and this is what we are getting at the list, like whoever employees are associated with this company. Ideally, we should have a back button here, but right now we didn't provide any. So I'll just use the browser's back button. If I'll click on other details page, so yeah, it is saying no employees because no employees are associated with this company. You can even see the URL, right? This is something that you should note even for each click, that how the URL is being changed and are you able to make out something from the URL? That's also an important point. That means, is your URL making sense? Means a normal user of your application, can the user understand? Can he make out something out of it? Okay, so this is now what we have done is, now just on top of it, what we can do is, let's say we are clicking on details of it, we are showing the list of employees. Now what we can do is, in this table itself, we can create a column details here. And what we'll do is, once you click on the details of that, it will redirect you to what? It will redirect you to the employee details page, and that is going to give you back the same information. But this time a bit reverse. That means it is going to tell you which companies this particular employee is associated to. Right. For now, whatever objects we have created, we have associated each employee with a single company itself. Right. Right. Is it correct? Yeah, whatever employees that we have created so far, we have just associated that employee with one company, because while creation, we are giving them a one drop-down menu to pick a company. And once they select a company, they click on submit, the object is created. You are not basically allowing the user to update it once again, or to add one more company with the object of that user or in the relationship. So we can do that. We can provide an update endpoint, where we'll simply block all of the other pages, like, or why block other things? Like, you can even change the employee name, the employee maybe experience or something like that. But you should not allow changing the employee ID, because that is serving as a primary key, and that is very important. You should never change it unless you really want. Right? So let's quickly go on to create an update endpoint. By the way, does anyone has any issue understanding whatever we have done so far? Anyone? By the way, am I correctly audible to all of you?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I can assume that there are no doubts, right? All right, I can. Okay. So what we'll do is, right. Instead of creating a new page, what I want to do is, I can basically provide those buttons, update an employee here itself. So let's first try to work on the employee, and after that we'll see. Right. So here we can say something. I would say actions, right? And here I would tell them to basically give a anchor tag like we did last time. Right? This anchor tag is gonna tell you that something like update, but of course we need to okay, just a minute. Okay. Yeah, so we need to associate an href attribute with it. And what kind of URL you can have? Again, I would like to point out the same thing, that you should try to create the meaningful URLs as much as you can. Since this URL is going to update an employee, what will I say is, I will say that the starts with the employee. Okay, and after that we will be passing the employee ID, so that we can search in the database, we can query in the database which employee is to be updated. Okay, so right, employee, and what we'll say is, we'll say emp dot employee ID, something like this. And after that we can say update. I guess I'm using some very similar endpoints that you were given in week 5, something like that. Okay. All right, we have created this page. I hope there is no typo here. I hope we should be able to get it. In the same way, we have to go to app.py and we need to code for this. And of course, if we need to code for this, we need to have an HTML page that would do the work for us. For now, what will I do is, I'll just go to the create one. That will make our job a bit easier. I'll take the employee one. Right. I'll copy this and I'll paste this here. Just that I'll change the endpoint and everything else that I can. Here it is gonna be the employee ID, and after that it's gonna say update. So again, I would be utilizing the same endpoint for sending a GET request, for sending a POST request, because once you click on the update, you should be presented a form, right, where you can update the details of the employee. And of course, you can associate that employee with a different company as well if you want. Okay, I'll utilize the same form, just that I'll change it to update employee.html. The same way I will have to create this file. Okay, I think the server is still running. I need to stop this. So
there is a typo in company details.
Yeah, sorry, where? Let me come back. Yeah, where?
So in company details, HTML.
Yeah, what is the typo?
Employee spelling, sorry. In the A.
Okay, this EMP, this one?
So no, the first one.
Okay, triple E's?
Yeah.
All right, okay. So 2 things were wrong. Right. Yeah, thanks for noting it out. Yeah, I hope there are no more typos. Yeah, I kind of lost the track what I was doing. So we have created this endpoint. We'll go here and we need to create this endpoint. I think we have already copied pasted it. Yeah, so update employee, we have update employee page somewhere. I guess yes, we have. Just that what we'll do is, We'll copy the contents from this create employee. We'll use the exact same thing here. You know, create employee. I'll paste the exact same thing. Just that I don't. I think that's fine. Name, email, experience. You can change pretty much everything, whatever you want. In the same way, you can associate yourself with a different company too. Now we'll have to look into the code that we have been using here for the get request. Means once you send a get request, what should happen?
The template with all the filled values should be.
Yeah, I think we just need the company details so that it can show you a drop-down menu with all of the company names through which you can pick. But if you send a post request means you are clicking on the submit button, right? In that case, what will happen? So these things are happening. You won't be creating the employee object. Can someone tell me, if we are not creating the employee object, what will we do? Because you remember, yeah, the employee object already exists in the database. We are just supposed to update them. We are just supposed to edit them. We are not creating a new object in the database with some duplicate entries. So what I want to do is will use some simple Python syntaxing. I'll just try to fetch the object from the database and I'll try to modify its attributes. So if I want to fetch the object, what I can do is I can say employee.query.get. I'll say that the ID is the primary key, employee ID is the primary key. Just get me that.
We'll have to pass the employee ID, and we'll have to change the name of the function as well.
Okay, all right. Yeah, thanks for this as well. Need to change this. So this can be update employees. Right. Yeah, so we are getting that object. Now what we'll do is we'll say that emp dot what was that? Employee name, email, and experience. Employee dot name will be something. Employee dot email, it will be something. And employee experience, it will be something, right? But what new values we have to assign them, that we have got from the form. For example, this is what we have got as the new name. This is what we have got as the new email. And e underscore experience is what we have got as the new experience, right? So now we are saying that, yeah, so whatever new company that you would have selected, you know that the primary key of that company would be received in this attribute CID, C underscore ID. What you would do is you will query in the company class and will try to fetch the object. And then simply, you know that this object is EMP. You will use its membership called company and will append that object in it. You don't need to add that object anymore into the session. You just need to do a copy after making all of these changes. Yeah, okay. And then what you are saying is that you want to redirect to what? Yeah, well, this we can decide, but I guess, okay, this one. All right, okay. So do you feel we need to do anything else? Yeah, we need to do one thing. We forgot to change that. What was the page that we just created? Employee. We need to change this action attribute. Now, can someone tell me what this action attribute is gonna be?
Slash employee ID slash update.
Okay, so are we passing an employee ID here?
Yeah, we're passing the employee ID to update it. Employee slash employee ID using the object.
Here we are not passing. So we need to basically pass it as well. Just to Now avoid the ambiguity between multiple variables. I'll say EMPP employee dot query dot get and employee ID, and then here I'll say EMPP equals to AMP. Well, did you understand why I'm doing it here? Why do I need to basically pass this object as well? Can someone tell me?
Because we need to update it from that endpoint only, no?
Yeah, correct. And if you remember, what we can do is, since we are passing this object here, whatever text fields they are present in the template, we can autofill those text fields with the existing values. Now that we already have been passing the employee object to that, I think we can do that as well. I'll just go to update employee. What I want is that in place of this input, the previous or the existing name should appear here. Can someone tell me what I could do here in that case?
A value equals to, and then the value.
I can use the value attribute of the tag, and here I could say what the object name is. I guess it is EMPP dot. This is employee. In the same way, I can do it for others. Employee email. I'll just leave the drop-down menu as it is, because the purpose of drop-down menu itself, we try to add an employee with other company, with more than one company. I hope I have not made any typo again. EMPP, and this would remain the same. So what we are passing here, we are passing two things. One is the company's object, a list of company objects, and then we are passing the employee object, right? Great, we are doing so. All right, so let's try to see, will this work or not? Okay, I'll just run the server again. I'm not entirely sure if this would work, but still, let's see. Let me open it. Right, this is working. Where do we get an update option? We have to go to all companies, and then we have to go to the details of, yeah, something like that. And then we get an option to update here. Let's say I want to update this first entry, who is having the employee name as Abhishek. I'll click on update. So you can see I'm getting all of the details pre-filled, that your existing name is this, your existing email is this, and the current experience that you have is this. And yeah, you can select the company that you want to. I'll leave all of the details as it is, just that I don't remember which company I am associated with. I guess with sample, because we have been into the sample view. What will I do is I'll associate this object or this employee name with this company employee. Infosys. I'll click on add. So we need to basically change this as well. This should be update an employee, and this button should also be changed to update. Anyways, yeah, we clicked on it. Again, if we see the companies, now you remember I added, I associated the an employee named Abhishek with what company? I associated with it with this the first entry, that is Infosys. So if I will click on details, I should be able to get the entry of Abhishek in its employee details. Previously, it was showing nothing, no employees. But if I go there, and now I am able to see it, yes, it is showing me because I myself have added, right? Let's do one more thing. View all companies. Let's see if there are any employees associated with this ABC company or not. You can see that ABC company has no employees right now, but I am hoping that let's try to update this Dev Madan. Right, I'll just add it with ABC. Now remember, ABC company had no employees, but after adding it, we should be able to get this entry with name Dev Madan in the ABC details. So if I go to view company, view all companies and ABC details, so see, I'm able to get this data. Right? Yeah. So any questions till now? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Now since we have added this update here, what we can basically do is, okay, this is a list of all of the companies, and this is an update. Well, of course, ideally, well, it's okay. That doesn't matter much. We are able to associate an employee with more companies. Now, what we want to do is we should be able to basically remove a particular employee from a company, right? For example, for this company, I know that three employees are working with this company. So with this update button, I should be having a button called remove. So what this remove will do, this one remove this employee, right, from the employee database. But what will it do is it will delink this object, the corresponding employee object with this company. That means after removing it, if you come back again on this page, you should not be getting that same employee. The reason, you are basically deleting or delinking it with that company. Right? That means the employee is not or no more associated with that. Either the employee has left the company, something like that. Okay. I'll stop the server. We need to add this where we need to add this here along with update. So let's see where we have added that update. I guess in company details. Yeah. So here we would be adding a remove. Right. I could simply copy it and I can add a remove. Remember here, remove just you are delinking a company with an employee. You are not removing the employee itself from the database. What can we pass in the URL? Can someone tell me what can we pass as part of the URL? What information is required? So right now, this template has the access to the company object, which is there in this COM. It also has the access to all of its employees. So what details are required so that we can delink an employee with a company?
Actually, we'll
Yes.
require employee ID as well as company ID because we'll need to remove it from the association table.
Correct. We need both of those things, right? So let's try to create a meaningful URL. Well, that's gonna be a challenge. What we can do is, anyways. So this employee and let's say company and right, we are also passing the company ID. What is the company ID? It is COM. Company ID. Right, I'll just copy this URL. See, it's a big URL so that we don't make a typo while defining it in the Python file. Right. I'll save this. I'll come here and let's define it. Okay. Oh, all right. I'll have to copy it again. I copy pasted something else. I'll copy this and we'll paste it here. Okay, there are certain changes that I need to make. I am sure that both of these are gonna be of integer type. So I need two objects here. One is employee ID and one is company ID. Yeah, do you think it's the correct URL? Employee employee ID, and then we have company and then the company ID. I guess this should be. Let us just I'm saying D-link. You can have anything. Right, you can keep any name of this function, whatever you want. I'm just naming it like that. So now I could do anything, right? I have both these IDs available with me, employee ID and company ID. What I can do is with the employee ID, I can fetch the employee object, and I can use the relationship of employee class that is company in order to remove that object, or I could do the other ways, right? I could fetch the company object from the company ID, and I could make the use of this members relationship in order to remove that. So anything means both are almost the same, no difference. Which one would you like to go for? Yes, which one do you think would be easier for you? I think we can take the employee one. Employee dot query dot get, and we are getting employee ID here. With this employee ID, what we are going to do is, okay, of course, we need to fetch the company object as well if we want to remove it from the relationship. The same thing I'll do with the company. I'll say this to be company, and this is a company. All right. So I have both of these things, and I can use any of the relationships. So let's say I'm making it from the employee relationship. The employee has a relationship named company. What will I do is I want to remove what? Sorry, typo. Remove this object, that is COM, that is a company object. So removing it from the relationship would, of course, affect the association table. And after that, we need to make sure that we commit these transactions. We'll just do a commit, and after that, we'll see what will happen. But we first need to take care at what URL we want to redirect it to. Right? For example, if you now you should be getting a remove option. So once you click on this remove button, what you want? You should be redirected to the root URL of this application, or you want to stay on this page and see those applications happening. Sorry, those changes happening.
On the same page would be better, I guess.
Okay. So what this page is, but even I'm not sure which page is this, company details page. And company details is, here it is, company details. So we need to see that which endpoint is basically, okay. So this endpoint is basically saying company endpoint, right? So can someone tell me if I want to redirect the control to this endpoint, what I can do?
We can simply say return redirect in the end.
Okay, we can say return redirect, but this basically requires a variable that is asking for the company ID to be here.
We have the company ID.
Correct. We have the company ID available with us. Yeah, I think we don't need the return. Sorry, we of course can render the template as well, but why do we render that when we can do it with the help of URL itself? So we'll say redirect. I'm not sure if I have already imported it. I think yes. So it should be redirected to company, and yeah, what should I pass here? Can someone tell me? What should I pass after company?
Company ID.
Correct. We need to pass company ID. Right. I'm just making sure that's the correct endpoint. Yeah, this seems to be the correct endpoint. What will it do is it will receive company ID. And yeah, should do the work for us.
Sir,
right. Yeah.
Sir, shouldn't that be STR?
Which one?
Do we need to typecast the company ID in string?
Do we need to? No, why? Hey, if you want to typecast, you can, but that doesn't really matter, I guess.
Okay, sir.
We should be able to get it, but see, let's see. Means if it is working, if it is generating an error, we'll see. Most probably it should not. Okay, so I'll again run this application. Right, we are here on the home page, so we'll go to all companies. We'll go to this sample, and let's try to remove one of the objects here. So let's see. Let me try removing Akshay. Okay, so we get an okay. All right, I guess you were almost correct. Cannot concatenate str. Oh, okay.
So we can actually use f string like that.
Yeah,
would
sorry.
be a
Actually,
better
I
thing.
was interpreting it in a different way. I guess you were referring that if we can send this integer or string in the URL. So this is a Python error. Like you cannot add an integer with a string. I misinterpreted that error. Okay. So yeah, if I refresh this, again list.remove x. X is not a list. 1 second. Where is this x? Okay, emp.company.remove. This is saying is x is not a list. 1 second. emp.company, and then we are saying, yeah, I guess remove is the method, right? Which is used to delete elements from the list, or is it something else? A list method to delete an element?
Yes, sir, it is a method.
Yeah, list.remove x. Okay, x not in list. This is what it is saying. So it is saying that x is not even in the list. Let me just go back. So what we are trying to remove is we are trying to remove Akshay. I guess he will be
X
having
is
some
employee
IDs.
ID.
Sorry.
So X variable is the employee ID. X is not in the list.
No. I guess what it is saying is x not in list. That means the object that we are passing here. So this COM, right? It is saying that this is not a part of this list in which you are trying to remove it from. That means what we are doing here is we are saying that we have an employee object, and with this company, we are trying to access all of its companies, right? With which this employee is associated to. And then what we are saying is that from that list, remove this object COM. So what this error is saying is that the object or the element that you are trying to remove doesn't even exist in the list. So that's why you cannot delete.
Okay, sir.
Right. So with that, what will I do is I'll just try to see what all are there in the emp.company. I'll just restart the server and see view all companies, sample. I guess that has already been removed.
That's
okay.
why it was coming.
Yeah, all right. I guess for the first time it was removed, but it was throwing an error due to that redirect. So now I should be able to delete this name Madan then. Yeah, so I removed it and it went. So first time what happened was we were getting this error that we cannot concatenate an integer. So by the time the control would have reached here, the object would have automatically been deleted from the database. That's why we were getting it. All right, so this is working as well. We are able to remove an employee. We are able to update an employee. So now if I'll go back and I'll just refresh this, right? And view all companies, which company we were seeing before, I guess sample. Yeah, so we are not able to see any of the employees. We have deleted 2 employees from this company. The same thing we can see with some other companies. Let's say from this Infosys, I want to delete this employee named Abhishek. I'll click on remove, and yeah, it says no employee now. Right. Okay, so any doubts till now? Yeah, anyone having any doubts so far?
Can we make an undo button also?
Undo button. Okay. In that case, I would say that you may need a different table as well. You may need one more table where you are keeping all of the history.
Deleted items.
Yeah, you need to maintain a history of deleted items.
A stack has to be maintained.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, which we deleted last will go on the top.
Yeah, so if you are making a stack, that is fine. You could even work with queue as well, whatever. Well, that depends which data structure you want to use. If you just want to say undo, you don't want to say that which employee is to be, which employees you want to basically, take back until and unless you don't specify that information, you should be having a stack, because undo means it will just, delete the last transaction or undo the last transaction. The last transaction, let's say you removed an employee, so that employee will come back to the same list again. And yeah, that will also depend on the context. The undo, you only want to do it for the deleting purpose, or you want to apply it for the addition purpose as well, for updation purpose as well, that will depend.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Can I ask one? I mean, that is little bit out of the scope, but can I ask that?
Yeah.
Yes, so in some advanced websites we can see like a list of companies we can see, and then when we click one company, we can see all the employees in that page only. Like here, a new page is coming, but a new box type of pop-up comes, and inside that same page it shows how that is done.
What you are saying is that it shows the list of employees on the same page.
Yes, like suppose in the Google Calendar we use, when we click suppose our schedule,
okay.
A small box page.
Okay. You can use the Bootstrap.
Meeting ID, meeting password.
You can use Bootstrap models for that.
Okay.
Bootstrap has a component called models. You can use that.
Okay, so Bootstrap models. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think we have covered almost everything that I basically wanted to. We have seen how the relationship works in both ways, from company to employee, employee to company, for addition, for updation, for deletion, for everything, I guess. And I believe that now you can take it forward from there and can build onto, just build on top of it whatever you want to. You can basically improve the UI of this app, because it's certainly not that you would like to have. I have not added any CSS styling or any kind of Bootstrap. You can go and use the Bootstrap classes and all. Yeah, that depends on you. So yeah, that's pretty much that I wanted to cover. I guess I'll just share whatever code that is available with me. I'll put it on the discourse so that you can fork this project and you can create your own versions then. I would also like to see if you are updating something, so you would reply on the same discourse thread but with the changes that you would need. I would be really happy to see those changes as well.
Sir, I have a doubt, but that is regarding Flask RESTful. So may I ask it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like here we are creating a route and we are returning something. And while making the API, we are doing a similar thing as well. So is there any difference between the two? Like if we are returning just a dictionary, we are returning just a JSON object right now. Instead of returning the whole HTML, we return a JSON object. And in the API also we're doing that using Flask RESTful. So would there be any difference between the two?
Yeah, that's certainly the difference. That one is returning HTML and one is returning JSON.
Not not in if we return JSON in both of the cases, then there won't be any differences in terms of security or anything else.
You basically have to convert your response into the JSON if you want to do it using simple Flask, because if you use Flask RESTful, it will by default return a JSON response. But if you are simply using the default Flask, it won't do that. You will have to convert your response into JSON explicitly. So there is a function, I guess, a JSONify, I guess you can use that in order to convert.
Okay, sir. Okay. So
Yeah,
I was
so
just
you
asking,
can
like,
say
is
that
there
if you
any?
started returning JSON response with Flask, you can say that, yeah, it's also a kind of API.
Yeah, that was asking. Like, is there any difference in terms of security, like the security aspect? Is there any difference?
Yeah, the thing is that you may not be able to make put and delete requests directly. You will have to rely on get and put on, because HTML forms can only support get and put. With the help of API, if you're using Flask RESTful, you can make. So let's say, if you're trying to test your application that you have built using Flask, right, that accepts some endpoints and it requires methods to be deleted. So you may be able to send a delete request or put request using your Insomnia tool and all, but with the help of browser, you won't be able to.
Oh, got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, yeah, I'll just stop sharing. Okay, is there anything else that we shall discuss, or can we end this session then?
So when would the week 7 sound Lava sound would be released? Like the
We
problem
would
statement
try
for
to
that?
raise it by tomorrow or day after.
And the deadline for that would be Sunday only, or like would it be something else?
Most probably yes, but I cannot commit right now. Hopefully you will get enough time to complete that assignment as well. But yeah, what I assume is that that assignment won't require much of your time, because you will have to build that assignment on top of what you have submitted in week 5. That shouldn't take much time, because you won't be starting with 0. That's my assumption.
Okay, sir.
And sir, can you say something about the final project, like how much difficult it will be, how much time it may take, like something like that?
Well,
or can we start something beforehand, like so this kind of things?
Well, we'll try to publish the project as soon as possible, and I'm hoping that this would be done by the coming Monday. That means in the next 2 or 3 days. I'm hoping to publish the project statement. Maybe we could create a live document, and we'll tell you that you can just use this document for getting an overall idea what the project is going to be look like. And we'll keep updating that document with some little changes, and maybe after a particular point we'll tell you that, yeah, this is the final, and you have to create a project of this. But yeah, hopefully by Monday we should be able to give you at least an outline what the project should.
Okay, sir. And sir, generally, how much time it may take, like in general?
I Well, of course, there might be so many conflicting opinions, but I think 3 to 4 weeks is what I think should be, because now, of course, you will be starting the project right from the scratch, but there are so many things that you would have learned so far. So you should be able to incorporate those things very quickly while working on the project. I am not really sure that if you need to take some help from other references, from some external references, in order to make out something in the project. I don't think so, because whatever you have learned so far, you should be able to very well complete your project with the help of.
And do we need to learn some more extra concepts or like that, or it will be based on the concepts we have learned up to week 7?
No, definitely not up to week 7. There are more weeks to go. Of course, you would need to use some authentication type of thing. I'm not if that's been introduced till now. In week 7, it was all about backend, I guess. Is there any screencast that is telling you something about how the authentication is implemented?
One log related screencast is there in week 7.
Okay, I guess, yeah, still there are some things that you need to know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There are more weeks to go, right? you are currently in week 7, means entering into the week 8. So yeah, 2-3 more weeks knowledge would be required.
Okay, sir. And but sir, in the documentation provided, there it is saying that after week 7 there will be no lab assignments.
Yeah, week 7 there will be no lab assignments. You will have to work on the project.
Okay.
Lab assignment for week 7 would be the last.
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so I will be sharing this code in the discourse probably by tonight. Hopefully, you should be able to build something on top of it just for the practice purpose. That's not mandatory. That's not put as an assignment for you. Okay, I think, yeah, that's a good time to close this session then. All right. So thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining in and joining in this session with us. All right. So all the best, and yeah, bye-bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.